Hey everybody, my name is Brian, that is Shane, and you are watching the Popcast Unleashed Friday Night Pickle Party live and in person. And I know a lot of you guys do watch this show after the fact, and that's fine too, but we would love to see you live, and I usually say that at the very end of the show, but today I'm saying it right now. If you're watching this not live, and you aren't doing anything on a Friday afternoon, come join us live one of these days and hang out. Also, if you are not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button on the way down to the comment section to tell me that my mic is too loud. Shane, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, your mic is too loud, sir.
It is what it is. Here we go.
Yeah, you know, it's really good. This week went by really fast for some reason. You notice that?
Yeah.
It was like just gone, right?
Right.
I guess that's what happens when you're working really hard, right?
Yeah.
Anything special going on with you right now?
I am wearing
this week, right?
I'm wearing a Stay Salty, my friends t-shirt. Do you see this?
Nice.
Stay salty, my friends, from our buddies over at the Salty Nerd Podcast.
Well, that's nice of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are great guys. If you haven't seen their show, go watch it for sure. Man, we've got a lot of news going on today.
We do.
We got a lot of things happening. It's weird is this week there was no good movie to go watch. It's like we're kind of waiting until March for the next release of good movies, right?
Right. Yeah, well, and not just movies, but TV shows. Lot going on. February is like a dead zone. But March, we got new TV shows or returning TV shows. We got new movies. Man, this year is going to be like, either it's going to be the year that DC found its foothold, or it's going to be the year DC just let out its last dying whimper.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel the same way for Marvel as well. You know, it's like, I'm not sure I'm too happy with the direction that anybody's going in, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. That's for sure.
All right.
So, this is what we're talking about today, my friends. We are talking about Apple Store employees wanting to unionize. Sure. Whatever it takes, from my opinion, whatever takes as much money out of Apple's pocket as possible.
I feel a little differently, but yeah.
Yeah, Peacemaker Recap. Peacemaker finale just landed, and it was a doozy. What a TV show. The Justice League characters are changing, and those changes are probably not for the better, considering the trend.
It's changing in a really weird way.
Yeah.
So.
Michelle, I'm going to murder this last name. You ready?
Go ahead.
Michelle Tafoya?
You got it, dude. That's
what?
Perfect.
I did?
Tafoya. Yeah.
Michelle Tafoya is the bravest Karen ever.
Question mark.
I don't even know what that means.
I know, and I apologize. I gave Brian the news very late today, so he's going to come into this as fresh as most of you guys are.
Yep. Robert Pattinson makes the same bat voice mistake as Christian Bale. Did Christian Bale make a mistake with his bat voice?
We will have to find out with the story.
Or was it distinctive?
Well, I'll tell you, I hate Christian Bale's Batman voice, personally. But that's not the mistake that was made. It was actually made before that mistake was made.
Oh, he went the other direction. So, like, if Christian Bale goes, "I'm Batman," Pattinson's like, "I'm Batman."
That's kind of what I thought too, but that wasn't it.
Bob Saget Mystery Deepens. It's weird how no one talks about Bob Saget for like a decade plus, but now everyone's talking about him.
It's what happens when people die unexpectedly, man.
Yeah, I guess. That's probably the only way this channel is going to get popular. One of us has to die.
Not it.
Not it.
Wait, it can't be you. Who's going to run the cameras? I'm screwed.
And then we got, for the members section, Star Wars leak for Obi-Wan series, and John Williams returns to do the music Rings of Power using race to ruin mythology. Yeah, that whole thing is mess.
You know what's funny is I kind of was on one side. Now I'm kind of on the other. It's very interesting. We're gonna have fun with that one.
I don't know what's going on, man. The whole world sucks. It just sucks. Everything sucks.
The whole world sucks.
And Star Trek 4 is happening, but of course, everyone watching is going to hate that, even though I like it. So.
Oh, well, I like it too. And I think there's a lot of people who like it, Yeah. So we're going to, if you don't like it, make sure you stick around to watch that because we want to have a good debate.
Yes. Okay, well, that's what we're talking about today. Before we get into it, how are you guys doing? What have you guys been up to? Are you watching this, at the end of your work shift, or are you just chilling on your computer, looking for something to do, surfing Reddit and playing League of Legends or whatever? Let us know in the comment section. Hit that comment section and talk to us because, if you're not live, you might as well talk to us in the comment section.
I want to know how many of you watch us on your television. So this has been something that's fascinating me lately, is I've been trying to watch more YouTube on my TV. And it feels kind of weird, especially watching us, like a replay of one of our videos on our television. I kind of look at it and go, I feel like we shouldn't be on the television. Like, It makes sense to be on the phone or the computer, but...
Right. I watch some certain TV shows via my YouTube account because I have to purchase them. And YouTube is the most friendly way I find to do that.
Huh, that's cool.
Because you get to keep all your, you can purchase it on Amazon, and it might even be cheaper on Amazon, but they don't have everything, and their interface sucks. On YouTube, I can just purchase whatever I want, and then go on YouTube, go to my stuff, and just watch it.
Just be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So wait, was it your anniversary this week, or you want to talk about it later?
It was.
Okay.
It was. 18
and how many
years, baby. 18 years.
That's amazing.
19 if you include that one time we eloped in Vegas. But no one's counting that. Yeah, we've been together for around 24 years total. 18 years of marriage. And you know what helps? This is how you stay married a long time. Make sure your wife is way out of your league.
Oh, yeah, that helps. Well, wait. How does that keep you married longer?
No, she's stuck, and I'm permanently interested.
Why is she stuck? Okay, come on. I need to hear more about this.
No, that's a joke. But yeah, she is. My wife's out of my league, and the reason I was able to marry up, if you will, is because my looks might not be there, but I'm funny enough to keep her laughing.
Oh, so if you were a sitcom, you'd be the funny fat guy. You'd be Kevin James.
Yeah, that's actually the worst thing. When that show was popular, King of Queens.
Yeah.
Every single one of our friends, every single one of them equated my wife to, what's her name? Leah something?
Leah Remini.
Leah Remini and
No,
me.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Remy?
I can't remember. Remy, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, Leah Remini and me to...
Scientologist.
Yes. Oh, ex-Scientologist. Remember she did that the expose.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife to her and me to Kevin James because I'm the fat, funny guy that works really hard and complains about not being able to watch TV or eat food. And my wife's the hot, also angry, ethnic chick in the back yelling at me to take the garbage out.
Did you see Kevin James in that new Netflix show, the Adam Sandler show with I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically the coach of the New Orleans Saints goes to coach his kid.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. Is it a show or a movie?
It's a movie.
Okay.
And it's a true story. And Sean Payton is the coach of the Saints. And Kevin James doesn't look anything like him. In fact, he's like twice the size of Sean Payton. Even though I noticed Kevin James really tried to lose weight. You could see like he was like trying to, but you just can't, and so you're like looking at it going, you just don't know if I believe this.
Right.
But Kevin James has it on Adam Sandler somehow. If you notice, like, he gets roles in his movies. There's something going on there.
Yeah, they're homies.
I mean, they're kind of homies, but there's something else. I feel like Kevin feels himself elevated over Adam. Have you ever noticed that?
I don't know. They did a movie together that was really, really funny.
Pixels?
No, it was. Oh, maybe I'm sure they did that too. But there was a movie called Chuck and Larry, I think.
Ah, yes. Well, yeah, that's right, where they got married.
And the reason I watched it initially is because at the time I was like a Tila Tequila fan, and she posted on her MySpace as a movie she was going to be in. And I'm like, oh, I gotta watch that movie. Now, to be fair, this is before she became some weird like self-hating Nazi propagandist or whatever.
Right.
That got beat up by a bunch of juggalos. I don't know what the hell went on. I'm assuming that a lot of drug use is what went on with her career. But there was a time where she was like, the social media darling,
Yeah, well, darling, or just didn't she like put her TNA out there pretty hardcore, and that's kind of.
I mean, that's how you become famous on social media.
I got you.
Yeah.
That's why there are no famous men on social media.
That's why there are very few famous men on social media.
Got it. Understood.
Like if you look at like the top 10 of who has the most followers, I guarantee you that looks have a whole lot to do with it. That's for sure. Not talent. And there are probably a whole lot of females. I mean, Kim Kardashian is the tippity top, right? So
that's true. Yeah. No, I just noticed it's weird. It's like let me know if any of you guys ever notice this. Like when you see Kevin James and Adam Sandler together, it seems like not acting, but like not acting, like in an interview or something, hanging out or something. It always looks like Kevin James has this like superior thing going on over Adam Sandler. And so I thought it was weird that he was put in this role for an Adam Sandler movie. Adam Sandler's not in this movie, by the way. It's his production team, the Happy Gilmore or whatever, Happy Madison. But he has no business being this coach. And the movie was fine. He kind of played the coach a little bit. Like his voice and mannerisms were okay. And I enjoyed the movie. But I just thought, this isn't the right guy for the role. So he must owe Sandler something.
I think they're his friends.
All right, maybe.
Yeah. Now that movie Chuck and Larry was really, really funny. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought
Adam Sandler movies are weird for me. It's like I really, really like some of them. Like I really, really like. I liked Happy Gilmore. I really like The Wedding Singer. I really like Waterboy, believe it or not. And I like a couple of his other romantic ones, 50 First Dates or whatever like that. But most of his stuff is just really over the top. It's I don't like them all for sure.
Okay. Sounds about right. I mean, most Adam Sandler movies nowadays are garbage.
Well, he's doing them all on Netflix. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So it's like he got this great deal with Netflix and just kind of, what was that, Sandy, whatever it's called?
I mean, he literally said in an interview that his movies are basically his vacations. So like when they do a movie, they're like, okay, well, where does him and his buddies and his family want to go on vacation?
Yeah.
Because it's like him and all of his friends that are in the movie and their families, and they go on like their annual vacation together. Like if you saw Grown Ups, like that's how they are in real life. They're all buddies and their families hang out. So these movies are like, oh, let's go on vacation. And Netflix foots the bill for them to all go on vacation and shoot something.
That's why there's so many movies in Hawaii. That must be why.
Yeah, and they mail it in because it's a job,
All right.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Although he was really good in Hotel Transylvania. He was the voice.
No, I just don't like those cartoons. I don't know what it is. I typically kind of dig cartoons, but there's something about those Hotel Transylvania ones that just don't do it for me.
I love it. I think Mavis is gorgeous.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a cartoon, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, I'm just double checking here.
Yeah. Plus, I think I like the fact that because they aren't allowed to use the actual monsters, like Frankenstein with bolts on his neck. I guess that image is technically owned by Universal or something like that. The way he looks is owned by Universal. But Frankenstein's not. So when they make Frankenstein, they have to make him look similar, but not so similar that they're breaking someone's intellectual property.
Right.
So all the monsters in there are like let's do a Wish.com version of this monster so we don't get in trouble legally.
Maybe that's what I don't like about it. Maybe I noticed they're all Wish.com monsters.
Because they are. If you look at it, you're like, oh, he doesn't have the bolts on his neck. He doesn't have like the weird brow and the scar. He doesn't have certain very, marks that we are like, oh, well, that's Frankenstein. And you don't really notice it because he has the same vague shape. And the same with Dracula. Look at Dracula. Look at all the monsters and be like, oh, they're missing stuff. They're missing all the stuff that makes them iconic.
Yes, yeah. Well, and also with Adam Sandler, I don't know if this is the same way for you, but like when you listen to, you've seen the Gru movies with Minions?
Oh, yeah.
So it's Michael Scott playing Gru, right? Mm-hmm. Michael Scott. What am I saying?
Steve Carell.
But you don't really go, oh, I'm hearing Steve Carell. But when you watch these Transylvania movies, it's like you cannot get Adam Sandler's face out of your mind every time he talks as Dracula.
You know, I didn't know it was Adam Sandler until the second movie came out.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Just didn't notice the voice.
You know, it's when he would turn into a human. I'm sitting there watching my kids, and he turns into a human. I'm like, man, the human version of Dracula looks a lot like Adam Sandler.
Interesting how he just kind of looks like Sandler.
And I Googled it. I'm like, oh my God, it is Adam Sandler. How stupid is that?
That's funny.
All right, well, let's get into the news, shall we, Shane?
Let's talk about some stuff. This Apple thing is interesting.
Oh, man.
You notice the stock market is just disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
Have you noticed the last couple of days? It's like I want to say like my wife's retirement account is like down like 20 grand.
I mean, listen, I would love for it to be doing great, but it doesn't affect me because I'm not selling anyways. So
I know we have this weird thing where we want it to go up all the time. We know it's not going to.
Right.
But that's what actually got me to this Apple story that came out. This Apple Store employees want to unionize because I was watching stock stuff earlier today, and this story popped up.
Okay.
And I went, oh, well, this will be interesting because, I try whenever we do our show, I try to have like some interesting current things. I know we're going to talk a lot of superhero star stuff, but it's always nice to have like some real life stuff at the beginning of the show, So
translation. Shane is so tired of the super sweaty nerd stuff that we talk about every week. He just wants some grown-up stories in here. So he peppers them in so he doesn't lose his mind and shoot me in the middle of the night.
That is so what my answer should be. Like, that should be exactly it. But the reality is that I'm just looking for something weird and unique that's entertaining.
I got it.
Like I want something. I was actually looking for news that was super odd. Like gorilla eats child or something. I'm just looking for something weird. Right?
Oh man, you gotta visit that subreddit, Not the Onion.
Oh yeah. There's some really weird stuff in there. I need to do that.
So it's like it should be the Onion news, but it's
right,
but it's actual life. Yeah.
I need to go look at that. You're right. But so I was looking through Google News, which is one of the worst places to find news, and and so I'm looking, and then I stopped, and this Apple thing came up, and I remember thinking this morning, I'm like, Apple Store employees are working to unionize, part of a growing worker backlash, right? And I've had this issue lately with younger people, and if you're a young person, I apologize, because I want everybody to get as much money as humanly possible in this world. You should just go out.
Especially from Apple.
Not especially from Apple. That's not true. All businesses are equal. I think people should be able to go out and get as much money as possible, but I also think businesses should get to be businesses because that's what makes America prosperous. But my complaint was, somebody was complaining the other day that they don't make enough money. And it started to kind of irritate me. So then I was like, oh, you don't think you made enough?
That was me complaining, wasn't it?
It wasn't you. No, because we don't make enough money.
We don't make enough money.
But nobody makes enough money, I guess is my point. Like, everybody wants more money. That's what I'm trying to say. Everybody should get more money. My problem comes when you start to say, well, give me more money, and I don't really need to do anything more for it. That's where I start to get frustrated. Like, if you want more money, you need to do something to make more money. Go start a side business. Go get an education to get a better job. Whatever. These U.S. and I didn't say Apple employees, Apple Store employees. These are the people that you go to if you have an Apple product, which I do not. But when you have a problem, you go to the Apple Store and they help you like solve your problem, right?
Right.
Kind of like you do with Verizon Wireless. Like you can like we have Verizon, so I go to the Verizon store if I got a problem. Like, I don't know what's going on, and they help me figure it out. These workers say that because Apple is worth so much money, that it's not fair that they don't get more money. Because what they're doing is they're actually on the front lines, whereas the people who run the business aren't.
The worst thing Apple ever did was call their locations the Genius Bars, because every person goes in there like, "Hey, Genius, help me with this."
That's so wrong, dude. So wrong.
Oh, okay, Genius. All right, whatever you say. It's never been used. So it's like going like it's like naming your kid Champ, but then he ends up
hey Champ.
But then he ends up like, because isn't there a football player named Champ, right?
Champ Bailey, yeah.
Yeah, but imagine it. Okay, so imagine if he wasn't a football player. Imagine if he ended up with like a D average and he was working at like Jack in the Box on the weekends. So imagine him, he's 45, sweeping the floor, and his 19-year-old manager's like, "Hey, Champ, you want to get the bathrooms while you're at it, boss?"
Oh.
That's why you should never name your kids something super prideful like that. Yeah. And never give your employees the name Genius.
Yeah, that was really, I mean, I know they were probably trying to like pump them up or something. Right? You know? But yeah. So let's dig into this here. It says employees at several Apple stores across the country are quietly working to unionize, according to people familiar with the efforts. So I hate when stories do that. Tell us your sources, or at least get close. As growing dissent among hourly workers threatens to disrupt one of the most solid tech giants. Groups at least 2 Apple retail stores are backed by major national unions and are preparing to file paperwork with the National Labor Relations Board in the near future, said the people who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss confidential plans. I don't know why you got to be confidential. If you want to stoke up a fire and stir up problems, you should. No.
Yeah, if you're trying to unionize, though, Apple can just sort of very slyly sort of relieve people of their positions that are ringleaders in the unionization process.
But they'll get sued for that. So they,
Yeah, but they'll get sued. But those people don't have a whole lot of money, so I think they'll win.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, I can see that. At least a half a dozen more locations are at less advanced stages in the unionizing process, say these people. Spurred by wages that have stagnated below the rate of inflation and encouraged by successful efforts by Starbucks employees to form unions, that's a whole other thing. Retail workers say they hope they can push the world's most valuable company to share more of its record-setting profits with the workers who sell, repair, and troubleshoot the products it sells. Apple has more than 500 retail locations around the world and more than 270 in the United States. It employs more than 65,000 retail workers. Sales through Apple retail stores and in the Apple website made up 36% of the company's money. Okay. It says here that the workers are paid a comparable hourly wage with the rest of society, basically.
So you know what the problem with this is? You're comparing your plight to Starbucks employees, right? Well, here's the issue with that. Starbucks needs employees to keep their business running. You know who doesn't need those stores?
It's true.
Apple. Apple doesn't need those stores. They just don't. And if it becomes too expensive to run them, guess what they'll do, Shane?
Yeah, they'll close them down.
They'll close them down. They'll end up. You know what they'll end up being? Freaking kiosks in the middle of a promenade somewhere, like other companies have.
And it's already hard enough to get your Apple products looked at or talked. Even to get a hold of somebody at Apple's impossible.
Right. So they'll just shut down their expensive stores. If it becomes a burden for them, and there'll be a kiosk out there with some help, some self-help. Go to the website, sign up nonsense, and everything is going to be. And every phone call is going to be going to some other country, and some guy named Kamu Archabar is going to be like, "Hello, my name is Jonathan from Apple. Can I help you with your product?" And
that's true.
And then you're gonna say, "My Apple iPhone is broken," and they're gonna be like, "Okay, sir, thank you so much. Have a good day." And they're gonna hang up, and you're gonna be like, "What just happened?" Because they don't actually understand what you're saying. That is what happens. This company, Apple, wants to make as much money as possible. Starbucks needs employees to sell its product. Apple does not.
And let's just be one more. And I'm not saying if you have a job at Apple or if you've got a job at Starbucks, great. But in general, these are transitory jobs.
Right.
So these are jobs that people are not. People don't go, "This is my career working at an Apple store," or "This is my career working at Starbucks." This is usually a stepping stone job for people. And now when you're going to unionize that, it just makes it a whole lot more complicated.
Yeah.
I understand unionizing the people who make the iPhones. I know that's done over in China, so it doesn't really matter for here.
Yeah, they're not going to unionize in China.
That's
you want to unionize, buddy? Okay, throw them off the roof.
Right, or maybe the drivers who drive Starbucks products across the country. I get that. These are career types positions, and maybe some people, maybe they want to be a career barista, or maybe they want to be career, Apple support.
I do know a lady that is a barista, and she loves being a barista.
Right. How old is she?
Like 45.
Yes, thank you. That's all I needed to hear. So if you do not have a career by the time you're 35 years old, then whatever you are doing is your career.
Yeah.
So that's okay. Some people have a career at Starbucks because that's just what happens.
No, to be
not
fair,
everybody can be.
This chick gets a lot of tips, bro.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad at all. I'm just saying, for most people, I would say what percentage of their employee base that's their long-term career position?
Right.
20%, 10%. I mean, how do you unionize something that it's not, where all the employees aren't there for probably forever?
Right.
Or 80 or 70%. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, I did some math. This is what frustrates the hell out of me. So these people are complaining, I'm not making... Apple retail employees can earn anywhere from $17 to more than $30 per hour.
Wow.
Okay? $17 to more than $30 per hour.
Hey, babe, now, bro, I'm quitting. I'm going to go be an Apple employee. So.
Right. This is why I'm mad. So here we go. In 1991, when I rented my first apartment, it was a one-bedroom apartment. I was 18 years old. I was making at that time $3.85 an hour. Okay? That was minimum wage, guys. $3.85. Okay? And that's what I was making. My housing cost for my rent was $750 a month. Okay?
Right.
I went today and checked that same apartment building complex. I called them and asked them, what is a one-bedroom renting for now? And they told me, we have one available right now for $1,950 a month.
Oh, my God.
That is 2.64 times what I paid for it. Now, check this out. Now, wages. Now, what they say they make, let's just say the minimum side, $17 an hour, right?
Right.
I made $3.85 an hour. That means at $17 an hour, they're making upwards of 4 times more than I made. The housing cost is only 2.6 times more, but they're making 4 times more. Oh, but that's not it. Gas at that same year, for me, $1.50 a gallon, is now $4.50 a gallon. 3 times more, right? Still less than the plus 4 times more they're making than I was. How about a Big Mac meal at McDonald's? Back then, $4.59. Today, $7.99. 1.7 times more. So I guess the point of what I'm trying to say here is you're not making less money. You're making more money than people who were working back in the late 80s and early 90s when they first got started. If you're expecting this, and that's why I'm saying, if you're expecting this to be a career, okay, then I don't see these as career jobs. But if you're expecting it to be a career, over time, you can earn up to $30 per hour, which is almost 10 times more than I was making at the time.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to age myself too bad here, but I remember when I first got my first double-digit job, $10 an hour.
Yeah.
I was stoked. And I was like 24, I think, or something like that. And I got a job at a sign shop where the starting pay was $10 an hour. But the job wasn't a job anyone can do. It was an actual skilled job. They hired me because I had like a minor in graphics. You know, I had a little AA, and they needed someone to work their software. And it was one of those things where it was like they had to at least pay $10 an hour. But in my mind, I was like, yeah, I got a job making $10 an hour, because every job I had previous to that was like anywhere between $6 and $8 an hour. You know.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And you know, so my point here is, look, now granted, I had to work 2 jobs. It wasn't enough for me. I was working 2 jobs, and I was going to school full time at the time. So I didn't have a lot of time for other stuff. I'm not saying that minimum wage is great for everybody. You know, so, but by these standards, you know, if you're making, you know, if you're working 40 hours a week and you're making, you know, $12 an hour, you can afford the same things I afforded when I was making $3.85 an hour. Now, you're not going to have a lot of extras. You're not going to have a super nice car. You're not going to be able to buy all the things that you want. And that's part of just life, you know? But you are going to be able to live.
Yeah.
You know, what's this comment here? I have a lot of coworkers and friends who I genuinely love, and they do not make enough to get by, said one labor organizer who works at an Apple retail store. They're struggling and they're hurting, and we work for a company that has the resources to make sure they're taken care of. Now, that's a good question. Does Apple have the resources to just share all of their money? Maybe. Maybe they could give everybody more. You know, but there is a cost associated with that. Let's take a look at Amazon, prime example, right? They straight up down thing said, we're going to give everybody more money. They're the first people who came up with the $15 an hour minimum wage. Back when everybody else was paying 9 and 10. They're like, $15. That's what we're going to pay you.
Right.
But the point is you can't stay at minimum wage forever. If your life is not as good as you want it to be, you can't say, you know, you have to do something about it. You can't just stay in the same job and say, especially in today's world, where there are lots of jobs available. Back when I was working that minimum wage job, there were no jobs. That was the beginning, or the beginning of the Clinton era, almost the beginning of the Clinton era, and there were no jobs, man. Couldn't get a job anywhere as a kid.
Right.
And nowadays, there's jobs everywhere. If you don't like the one you're doing, go get another one. You know? Anyways, that's kind of the way I feel about it. And just hear these people wanting to unionize because they think that they're not getting enough money. Let me tell you what a union's going to do. Let's say they do get you more money. Who do you think Apple's going to do? They're just going to turn around and charge more for their product. Right?
Right.
So people are just going to pay more for it.
Right.
So, you know, I guess, what do? I guess you don't buy Apple products. You work at an Apple store. You got Apple things. So you probably use their products if you work there.
And their products are
expensive. You're going to end up paying more for them, for their services. So I don't know. I hope that everybody gets the money they want. But if you think that you should be able to just do a job and then just get paid whatever you want to get paid for it, I don't know if that's exactly fair.
Yeah, no, and you got a good point. You know, a friend of mine, look, no one makes enough money, to be fair. No one.
True.
But a friend of mine was asking me, he's like, hey, you got any positions open at your shop? And I'm like, no, not really, you know. Everything's down right now, so like we won't be hiring for a while. And he's like, oh, you know, I'm just not making enough money. Coincidentally, he works at Starbucks. I'm not making enough money, so I'm looking for a change. And he's like, let me give you my number in case you ever need someone. And he pulls his phone out, and he has like a brand new, it's the Apple iPhone, the one with the 3 cameras on the back that costs like $1,500.
That expensive phone, yeah.
And he's like, what's your number? And I'm like, that's cool, man. I'm not gonna be hiring for a while.
Yeah, and that's true. And
Yeah, the
I don't know if it's
$1,500
part of-
bonus. So if you look how much let's say he makes the $2,000 a month. If you spend 3 weeks of your life on a phone, then that's a mistake. It's a mistake if you spend 75% of your monthly earnings on a phone. If you're hurting,
True. Yeah, I mean you can't, But when this story it says, that some employees make more than $30 per hour working at these Apple stores, and it just makes me wonder, like, how much is enough? Like, at what point are you making enough money? You'll never think you're making enough money. You know what I mean?
right? Yeah,
I've never felt unions are the answer.
yeah.
I was in the government with unions, and
I don't think involving the government in anything is ever the answer, because the government is a bunch of dumb, idiot monkeys jumping around, smacking a giant Apple phone obelisk with sticks. They don't know what they're doing. You're going to give these idiots, you're going to give the government control because right now it suits you. What happens when it doesn't suit you and now you've given them control?
yeah, it's just there's a lot of, I mean, there's some good things. Job security and wages is something that comes with. But look at the teachers' unions. Such a great example. Teachers' wages are terrible. Unions have not helped them make more money. All it's done is give the unions more money and then more political power. That's all it's done.
Right, the unions make more. All right.
The unions are the ones who benefit from unionizing.
All right, let's move on from this story.
Yeah, I know it's a little bit more serious, but I just wanted, I especially thought you guys would enjoy hearing the 1989-90 version of housing prices and all that stuff. And at McDonald's, I thought it was interesting that a Big Mac meal has only gone up, like $2.50.
You're making me hungry, Shane. Stop talking about Big Macs, bro.
But the gas is 3 times. The gas is pretty expensive. So
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about some Peacemaker. Yeah.
yeah, no, absolutely. I really loved that series.
Yeah.
Such a great series.
The
So
last
different.
the last episode, the finale was called "It's Cow or Never." I'm assuming that's a play on "It's Now or Never" by Elvis Presley, I guess.
Yeah, or it's just now or never.
Oh, okay.
I don't even think it's a play on the song. I think it's more like a play on, if you don't do it now, they're going to basically rule the world.
Right. Now, okay, so spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. I'm not going to even try to not do spoilers here. So.
No, it's been enough days.
Well, it's been a day. But yes, it's been enough
Really?
days.
It feels like it's been several days.
Yeah.
That's how much we've been working.
Yeah. So this show overall is absolutely fantastic. And the great thing about this is this, and I pause it here for a purpose. This moment at the end of the show really sums up the whole show for me, because there was a moment where this lady right here, the Asian lady, is playing a character where there's a butterfly in her head. A butterfly is this parasite that's controlling her, right? And they're trying to, in her words, they're trying to save the world, right? Because humans have just absolutely, utterly destroyed the planet, climate change, blah, blah, blah. All the things the humans are, the humans do bad, right? Mm-hmm. They're killers, blah, blah. So she's trying to convince Peacemaker to help them transport this giant, huge caterpillar that is where they get their food. It's so ridiculous. It's awesome.
Right.
And she's like, hey man, your mission is peace, right? Blah blah. And she's starting to sell him. Like, she's giving him the hard sell.
Yeah.
We're not trying to conquer your people. We're trying to save your people. Help us save people. And for just a second there, Shane, I thought they were gonna tear up the second season with him helping this little butterfly who previously he had little trapped in a jar, and he was like sort of buddy with it, right?
Sort of, yeah.
I mean, in a sort of. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a minute there, I thought they were going to go that route where Peacemaker was going to help her transport the cow and solidify their hold on humanity because of her, because he's a little dumb, and she has this whole spiel about how she's trying to save the planet, blah, blah, blah. And then he just says activate human torpedo and just destroys everything.
Yeah, that was a great moment. You know why? So James Gunn explained why that happened, why the decision was made. He said, the series is about a character who is trapped in his own ideals, who has lived in a life like that because of the trauma that he experienced. And in the last episode, he's a different guy than the guy you killed. In the last episode, he's a different guy than the guy who killed Rick Flag.
Right.
Remember that?
Right.
As convincing as Goff's offer sounded, it was just another instance of someone trying to force Peacemaker to fight their version of peace. So Peacemaker decided to break the cycle he had been trapped in since his brother died, and instead do what he felt was right, despite the tragic cost to the butterflies.
Yes, and I thought that was brilliant. But what I was concerned about was, for a moment, I thought they were gonna take this beautiful show and they were gonna make some like social statement. And I
did too, but my brother ruined it for me.
Did I?
Yeah, because when you said the show almost went off the rails, I knew immediately when that started happening that that's what you were talking about.
I'm so sorry, bro.
I know, it's like as soon as you said, I wanted to say, don't say anything. I haven't seen the rest of it yet. And then you said that, and I went, no, blah, 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 stop. Remember that? I'm like, no, stop. And so I kind of knew. I mean, in a way, I didn't have to suffer through that feeling with you. So that was okay. Because if that would have been the way it went down, I would have been like, oh, gosh. But I also didn't get the elation of him saying, human missile. Or
activate human torpedo.
Right. Which, by the way, was such a Peacemaker way to solve that problem.
Yes. The fact that he has one of his so the thing about Peacemaker is he's a regular person. I mean, he's obviously okay. Well, John Cena is not a regular human being. He is obviously
right.
a specimen of his own, but he's not supernatural, right? He's not super.
He has no superpowers.
Yeah. Right. He's a specimen of top peak performance of human. But what makes him special in this instance is he has these helmets. They're designed by his racist father, who all do different things. And he has this prototype helmet called the Human Torpedo, and that he doesn't want to use because if you use it, you just break all your bones immediately because it turns you into a torpedo with the helmet being the head of the torpedo. So you get to where you're going, but your body is wrecked along the way. That is the perfect, like, if he's going to have a helmet that sums up Peacemaker, that's the helmet.
Yeah.
It's so perfect. Or the one that flies, but it only hovers, so he has to use little fans to move himself around.
Yeah, I do love that about him. Peacemaker is, he's kind of like Batman, but without the intelligence, I guess, or fighting prowess. I don't know. I guess he's more brutal or more. He's not a great fighter, but he kicks a lot of butt. Is that what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, he's a brute. He's a thug.
He's a brute. Yeah.
He's like if one of the henchmen decided to be a superhero.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, the way that ended was really fantastic. I'm so glad, and I loved at the end how Goff, which is the butterfly that's inside the lady here, at the end she's hungry, so the little butterfly goes to Peacemaker for food, and she's like the butterfly is kicking it on his porch with him, drinking whatever's left of the food that he kept.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that Goff is going to die.
Right.
Unless they can figure out. It would be interesting with season 2 if they do want to expand on that character and the fact that because obviously Goff is an intelligent being, right?
Right.
It led this uprising. And the other thing that I love about that character is when he's being played by the girl, and she's explaining the thing to Peacemaker, and she thinks she's got him convinced, and then Peacemaker basically says no. The look on her face is of utter shock that he's not, because you can tell she really believes, or Goff, if her acting is really good, Goff really believes what it's doing.
Right.
Right. And so the fact that, this happened to it, And now that it's on the porch, and I'm guessing Peacemaker had the only leftover goop, right?
Right.
And that they're hanging out. But that character will have to die unless they figure out another way for it to eat.
It might be cool to also have a character that can be played by anyone.
But isn't it kind of anti-superhero-ish to have it just destroy every human being it has to enter?
Yes, except
that person's
for
gone.
Remember in Murr's case, or I forgot his name. Murr, I think his name.
Which one?
The leader of their little band, the black guy.
Oh yeah.
It was discovered that he was actually
Clemson Mirren. Yeah, Mirren.
He was actually a butterfly, but he was a good butterfly in the sense where like he believed in their mission to save the planet, but not the way they went about it. Because like they were like, okay, we're gonna save the planet by removing everyone's freedoms in the process, and he didn't agree with that. So he was helping. He was actually leading the task force to try to stop his people, which would
struggled.
Wait, that would ultimate. If you think about this, he was leading the task force that was going to kill the cow that would also kill him.
Yeah, no, that's huge. But also you got to remember the fact that he took over the body of that guy, he said he was bad. He was really, really bad.
Bad dude. Yeah, he was an evil man.
Because he was basically taking away that person's freedom. So I guess they could go forward in season 2 and have Goff inhabit the maybe serial killers or somebody like people that society really deems,
right, like the worst, right? Almost like a Dexter type of thing,
You could do that. I think that would work.
The audience will definitely, especially if every time it happens, he's like reprimanded in some way, like, why do they go? Well, this guy killed a bunch of kids or whatever. The audience will accept it if it's just a horrible human being.
I think you're right.
Yeah, but overall, it was a great series. The only bummer is that, we would love to have some theories to put together for the series, but it buttoned it up really nicely. So
they did. It's funny. They acted like they don't know if they were going to get a second season the way they ended it. And then to come find out, like the next day, it was announced they were getting a second season.
Which is awesome.
Which is great that we're getting a second season, but it does make it difficult to, kind of think about what's happening. And James Gunn did discuss season 2 a little bit. James Gunn said that he's still playing with a lot of different things at the moment. He's not exactly sure where season 2 is going to go. So even he doesn't know where season 2 is going to go. That ending, after thinking about a little bit more, the ending with his dad sitting there next to him, which you're about to show right now.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really interesting that the scene before when he shows up when they're about to go kill the cow, and he's arguing with his dad in the forest. Remember?
Right.
He's very talkative. He's calling him names. All these terrible things are happening. But if you notice in this end scene, he's just sitting there. He's not making any sound. He's just there, and it's almost as if to say that, while his dad is still on his mind and will be a part of who he is, he's not controlling him or distracting him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it shows growth and maybe some healing for the character by doing it this way.
And by the way, expertly played by Terminator 10,000, whatever. I always forget his real name.
Terminator 10,000. Yeah, it's Robert Patrick.
He was awesome. What an awesome actor. That character was hilariously evil. Like, in every way,
yeah,
just a bad guy.
He played it really, really well.
It was so weird how he was almost like the Alfred to Peacemaker, to Peacemaker's Batman. He was like, if Peacemaker's Batman, this guy would be Alfred. But he hated his son, but it was the only son he had. So in his mind, he's like, okay, I'll build you stuff if that means you're out there, killing bad guys. But to him, bad guys was anybody that wasn't white.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting for season 2 to explore that more. Like, these things aren't just technologically crazy. I mean, they're like super advanced things.
No, yeah, this guy was an absolute genius. Like he had like the whole TARDIS thing where it was like it's bigger on the inside in his closet.
Right. Yeah, I'd like to see like how that whole thing began, where he went from just being like the trailer park racist guy to, technological genius. My kid is going to be a superhero and I'm making him stuff. Like, how did it go from him killing his brother by beating him up and him, saying, you stupid idiot, to supporting his superhero ambitions?
Yeah, well, I think as long as he kills more of them than us, that was what he said in the show or something like that.
Sort of, yeah, right. But there's still got to be more to that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like the Robert Patrick's Augie Smith character can be developed even more, even though he's gone.
Yeah.
I still think they can into season 2, and that'll help the whole Peacemaker character develop more.
Yeah, I just want to know how his tech works. I mean, this is sort of a science fiction. In fact, this show is definitely, it's a superhero show, but it's a science fiction show with superhero characters. In fact, none of them are actually superheroes. Actually, it's science fiction show with wannabe superhero characters.
Exactly.
Because no one's actually a superhero in this entire show.
Well, the superhero showed up at the end. You want to talk about that?
Yes, that was so brilliant. He got the Justice League to show up at the very end, and Peacemaker walks up. He's like, "Yeah, you're late, dickheads!" Right?
Yeah.
And he walks. At first, all you saw was like the shadow of them, and you're like, "Well, they're not going to actually show."
That's what I thought. Yeah.
The actors, because there's no way they're going to get the actual Justice League actors in this show. And then he walks by Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller, and it's them. It's actually them.
Right. I was surprised by that when I said, "Whoa, that is Jason Momoa."
Yeah, he's like, "Go F a fish, Aquaman." He's like, "Hey, I'm so effing tired of that rumor." And Barry and the Flash is like, "Well, it's not rumor." He's like, "F you, Barry."
Right. Yeah.
So now it's literally canon that Aquaman has sex with fish.
I guess, or it was a joke that, or no, or I would say the Flash was getting his goat.
Right. That's probably the case.
Yeah.
But it was the actual actors. Now, Henry Cavill wasn't there. Gal Gadot wasn't there. But
look who was really missing from that. The two people really missing from that were Cyborg and Batman.
That's true.
Yes, and let's talk about why that is. Because James Gunn almost let the cat out of the bag.
Uh-oh.
Yes, there's some changes coming to the Justice League lineup.
Oh, are we doing that now?
I just figured it was a nice transition.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice transition. Here we go.
But James Gunn has been in the business of superhero movies long enough to know when to hold back information. During a recent interview with Variety about the finale of his Peacemaker show, he teased that there are changes coming to the DCEU's Justice League team, but clearly couldn't elaborate on how those changes will come about. So of course it talks about here how he had the unexpected cameo, and what that meant with Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller being there. But they asked him like, "Hey, what's up? Why wasn't Batman and Cyborg there?" And he says, "I don't know what I can." And then he stopped. And then he said, "There are reasons for it, but I'm actually uncertain whether I can say what those reasons are. It might have to do with future stuff."
Oh.
So what that means is, dude, there's no Batman and there's no Cyborg.
No. That means they don't know what Batman's going to be. Is it going to be Michael Keaton? No. Is it going to be is it going to be Robert Pattinson?
It don't matter because there were shadows. They could have done shadows.
No, but the shadows are very obvious. Like it's like Ben Affleck.
I'm sorry, Wonder Woman's shadow was not obvious. It was Gal Gadot.
Oh, I mean, it looked like Wonder Woman for me. I knew it was Wonder Woman.
It looked like Wonder Woman, but it didn't look like Gal Gadot.
That's true, but Ben Affleck Batman and Michael Keaton Batman are two completely different shadows to me.
I mean, they could have put a Batman there, it wouldn't have mattered. I don't think that's what it is. I mean, the Cyborg character, they could have found anybody to shadow that.
We know, though, that Batman is changing in Flashpoint. In fact, it might end up being Batgirl instead of Batman, and that would be a completely different shadow.
Oh, that's a good point. So that's true. So if it was changing from a male to a female, then that could be
that might be good for Superman because we had regular Superman there. I don't want to see Supergirl replace Superman. Please don't do that to me. Jesus.
No, that would not be good. Yeah, that would be. So I guess because of Flashpoint, they were probably careful to, Cyborg is probably just done, period.
He's
After
done,
all that
yeah.
stuff that happened with Ray.
Well, if it's any
It's probably-
consolation, in Flashpoint, Cyborg is like just erased. So
Yeah, well, I think that because of everything that went down, there's no way Warner Brothers is going to be like, we don't have nothing to do with that character.
yeah,
You know,
Ray
probably-
Fisher's out. Yeah.
There's no way to like continue it with another actor. There's without them seeming like the bad guys. So the best thing to do is just pretend like he doesn't exist in their eyes.
Right.
Not for us. We like the Cyborg character.
Yeah. I thought he was great in the Snyder cut. He wasn't good in the theatrical cut though.
So this is interesting. It does say how those changes will resonate through the future of the Justice League is unknown, but with Keaton also involved in the Batgirl movie,
Ooh.
it is clear there is something coming to shake up the format. So we are getting a Batgirl movie, and Michael Keaton is going to be in that movie.
Fantastic.
Well, you know what that means?
What?
That means Flashpoint is definitely setting up the future of the DC universe.
I already said that 2 years ago.
I know you said it, but you said it as conjecture. This is fact.
Okay, so what you're saying is I was right again.
You were right that it's
Again.
happening.
I was right again.
Again. What is this again?
I'm almost always right when I predict
Come
something.
on, dog. No, you're not. If you throw a million things at the wall and, 20% of them come out, don't mean you're always right.
I said Fast and Furious are going to go into space. What do they do?
Okay, would you like me to also point out some things that have not come
Yes,
true?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Jason Momoa did not come to your house to visit you with his shirt off.
Okay.
And yet
No.
you insisted.
No. That was a dream that I told you in confidence.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry.
Come on, man.
I'm so sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen? But obviously, it was specific that there were characters missing because something's changing.
Bum, bum, bum. All right, let's talk about Michelle Tafoya being the bravest Karen ever. What is this about, Shane? And why am I looking at Tucker Carlson talk about this lady?
We are?
Yeah, this is the link you gave me. It was a Tucker Carlson link.
Oh, she ended up going on that show.
Oh.
But so here's what's up with Michelle Tafoya. Actually, this story got pulled up. This story is the one that made me want to talk about it because Michelle Tafoya has been essentially a name that NFL fans would recognize because she's been on the sidelines doing interviews for like 15 years. So when they started having women come on board and do these interviews with players, they were like the sideline people, right?
Yeah.
And
Sideline
Michelle Tafoya-
babes.
Yeah, but not babes. They were like, professional, news people.
Aren't those the same people that would like interview the players in their locker rooms and all that too? And then the movies always made fun of them like walking around with like all these nude guys. Like,
I mean, yeah, there were some movies that did that, which it must have been pretty awkward. But yeah, they did. And she was, that was kind of like the first place. I mean, now you have women in sports that are, there was a thought process that because women didn't play football, maybe they couldn't talk about football. But nowadays you have women, behind the desk who know just as much about football as anybody else. And Michelle Tafoya is one of these people who's been on the sidelines, and there was no reason for her to go anywhere. But she quit. She quit working at NBC. And she did it specifically because she wanted to be more outspoken about her beliefs. And she felt like as long as she was working for NBC, she couldn't do that. So she essentially quit her job. And what happened was, the way this all got started was she was at some events at school with her kids. And she noticed that the kids were being segregated by the color of their skin. So they were having events specifically, like her son's best friend, I guess, is an African-American kid. And he wasn't allowed to hang out with him because he had to only hang out with the African-American kids during these group things. And they were segregated. Made her mad.
sounds pretty backwards.
Made her mad. She went to the school, and the school, gave her pushback, I guess. And so she's, became more and more outspoken about it. And she said, I don't understand why we're teaching children that their skin color, matters, I guess, is the word she used. Why are we telling them that, that you're different, and so therefore you should be treated differently as a result, when we should all be treated the same? And this is something that a lot of Americans and a lot of people in our society today feel the same way. And the argument is that, for people of color, they say, well, but there is a difference. So you may say, we want it to be different. Everybody should be the same, but they're not. And so what this woman is trying to do is she's trying to get, like all of us would like, is going into the future. It doesn't matter. No one should be judged by the color of their skin, right?
Right. Period. The end. Full stop. Right there. Stop. Right there.
That should be the end of it. But unfortunately, because people of color are still being judged by the color of their skin by some people, they want to focus more on that instead of focusing on the future. Does that make sense?
Right. It does.
Okay. So Michelle Tafoya went on The View. And she got into an argument with Whoopi Goldberg. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, surprise, surprise! Whoop.
She told
Wait, I thought Whoopi was relieved for a few weeks. She already back?
Yeah, I don't know if she's back, but this might have been a little bit before. So basically, Whoopi told her, that's nice and everything, but there is a difference. And so this sort of segregation that's being created between the students is necessary to teach kids about the past is kind of her point, the Whoopi's point. That's kind of the point of everything, is to get white people to recognize that their inherent racist tendencies by focusing on this instead of not talking about it. So I kind of get like both sides of it. Like people of color are like, look, we want to talk about this. We want to keep talking about it until something changes. But you got people like Morgan Freeman, who said, look, if we keep talking about racism's never going to end.
Right.
So there's like this two schools of thought. So I just thought it was really brave of Michelle Tafoya to quit her job, that she was so passionate about her belief, and her belief, have no doubt about it. Even though this article here, and I got to tell you, this Shalise Manza Young, who was a Yahoo Sports columnist, should be ashamed at her article that she wrote here. Basically slandering Michelle Tafoya through the entire article.
Yeah, I was reading it right now. I'm like, who is this person?
Shalise is an African-American journalist, and she wrote a slander column on her. And then she put this video at the end, which was absolutely 100% wrong. There's a video of these two high school age kids where one's a Latino kid, light-skinned Latino, and a black kid, and they end up in a fight at a mall, I guess, or an airport, or what the heck's going on there. And when the police run in, they did more to the black kid than they did the lighter skin colored kid. Put him on the ground,
What does that have to do with this?
Well, she's saying that, hey, Michelle, it's nice of you to want everybody to be the same. Well, I think she specifically says, it was actually another thing. But basically she's saying, it's great of you to say, that there's not a difference, but just check out this video. Obviously there's a problem. There's a difference. So you can act like there's not a difference, but there is a difference. And so they're criticizing her for calling for us to treat everybody the same way, which it's very hard for people to understand this idea of not, of just let's go forward and everybody be treated equally. I mean, there are always going to be human beings in the world that are just ridiculous, evil, dumb people, backwoods, whatever you want to call them, back-ass people that have these weird thoughts and processes that aren't going to stop them from doing dumb things, like being racist or doing things overtly that are racist. You're never going to get rid of that completely.
No, you're not.
And so if you don't start saying, hey, look, we're all the same, if we're all like Michelle here is doing, we're all the same. Let's just treat each other all the same, please. Let's all be the same. Let's all be Americans. Let's all be humans of this planet. And all afforded the exact same, everything. And it's not just in race. I mean, we were just talking about it with the Apple stuff. Rich people and poor people are also treated differently.
Right.
You know, there is always going to be differences in humanity. But at some point, we have to start working together as opposed to, you know, sitting in our corner with people like us and crying about it.
I agree with that.
So that's kind of what this is about. So I just wanted to point out that this happened. The lady quit her job to go, and you'll probably see her, you know, being more outspoken about the whole thing. And what's funny is the reason I called her a Karen is because in classic Karen style, she even apparently called the school to rail about the picnic, saying she was stepping up. So she's harassing her for letting the school know she didn't want her child to not be able to hang out with his African American friend.
Right, because that's ridiculous.
I don't understand that.
Yeah,
like if you call the school and say, "Hey, let my children hang out with people of color," I don't understand why that's racist. Is what she's basically calling her here.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. I don't even understand why the school would be segregating that in the first place. I
mean, it wasn't completely. It was for like certain events because they wanted. I don't know. They're trying to something with culture. You know, make people of the same color have more interaction with each other. You know, I mean, there's positives to that too, but you know, I think she didn't like the way they were, you know, singling people out and making. I mean, her son felt uncomfortable about it.
Well, time to leave that school, Haas. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where you're at. And I'm sure that she's pretty affluent. And the school she must have been sending him to must have been pretty well-to-do, I'm guessing. So.
Right. Yeah. So it's so dumb. This whole thing is
I just thought it was interesting news. So.
It is very interesting, my friend. Yeah, I don't... That's the problem. The whole problem with all this stuff is, like, I don't understand it. Like, at all. I don't understand what the problem is. Like, this person is saying she's spewing her venom. What are you talking about? She literally wants her kid to be able to hang out with her black friend. Like, what's venomous about this? It's so dumb.
And what's frustrating about it is if you saying I don't understand, you know, what a person on the other side of this point would say is, well, you can't understand because you're not, you know, a person of color. So you can't understand.
All right, so explain it to me.
Well, and that's my problem is like there is no explanation for it. You simply can't understand, so therefore you need to acquiesce. The problem is that until we get to a point where everybody understands each other, then there's there's not a way to move forward. You know, and our society is so much. Somebody was saying the other day, I thought this was very interesting. Our society is so much better than it was before. I mean, we're older, so we remember things. But I think I think she was even saying something like, well, Whoopi Goldberg would have never been able to be a movie star if our society hadn't improved to the point where, you know, people of minorities were able to do more and have better opportunities. You know, and things have continued to get better and better for all of society.
Yeah.
At some point we have to say, you know, we're all on the same page. And maybe that's what's happening is that people just don't feel like we are.
Well, I don't do about that.
I like that answer.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even, especially if you can't even explain to me what the problem is. Like, I'm not going to just accept anything someone says without an explanation. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Well, what if the explanation is this? What if the explanation is, you know, because you don't know what it's like to go through life, you know, concerned about the color of your own skin and the social situation that's going to put you in a negative way. What do you say to that?
Okay. Explain to me how that has anything to do with her kid not being able to play with his black friend.
Yeah, that's impossible to understand.
And then explain to me why she's racist for saying that.
All right, so
how is what she's saying venomous? Explain to me how those things are connected, bro. You know what I mean? Like, where's the connection?
So Shaliz Monza Young, please get a hold of us. We'd like to bring you on the show so you can explain to us. No, I'd like you to explain to us why Michelle Tafoya is a racist.
Venomous, racist, disgusting views.
Yeah, we want to. I mean, I'm seriously.
That's her words. Okay, so
yeah, we want to know what's. We want to understand. We want to understand so we can help support bring everybody together. That's what we want.
All right.
Let's see. We got Daniel's hot topics over here.
What up, Daniel?
He says, you know what sucks is that the Flash movie, they may destroy Earth 89. I hate that because I grew up with Earth 89 and Keaton Batman. That was my first live-action DC Earth I ever saw.
That's very true. They might do that.
Interesting. Okay.
That's what they did in the Flashpoint.
He also says here, so I finally caught up watching Discovery Season 4, and someone on the show mentioned that they were from another universe. That's cool. It feels like the multiverse will play a bigger role in Trek. I have not seen that yet.
He's talking about the scientist.
I'm not there, I don't think.
Yeah, you'll get there.
I don't know if I will, actually, to be honest with you.
The same scientist who alludes to he alludes to the fact that he is that he wants to get back to his universe to be with his partner.
So wait a sec. So like we're talking about other than mirror universe kind of thing?
I guess some other universe.
All right, we'll have to look back into it.
His
Thank you for
partner's
bringing that
there
up to
waiting
us.
for him.
Daniel's hot topics.
The whole thing is so stupid.
It's tough. I know.
It's so
There's
tough.
A lot of people who love Discovery. But...
I actually just watched the latest episode, and they brought back that security chick with the breather. Remember? I always forget her name. Non, I think her name is Non or Now.
No, I totally forgot that character. I mean, you'll have to remind me. I've totally forgot.
So she's like really like, I don't have a word for it. Rude and mean, and she's like really gruff, and she's like security this. Anyways, they brought her back, and her and Michael are acting like they're best friends. Like, oh, it's so good to see you. Like,
wait, was she not on the ship or something?
Yeah, well, she left when they went to the future. Apparently, she left to go like be with her people, and then she went back to Starfleet. And now Starfleet is having her basically like make sure that Burnham goes through with her mission because they don't trust her to do it. And they're like, and Burnham was like, "Why don't you trust me?" And he's like, "Well, because you're close to Book." And my answer would have been, "Yeah, you have a relationship with Book, and you have a history of always doing the opposite of what we tell you to do."
Wait, so this person's from the past or is present?
She's from the past. She was like, the evil Lorca's like security chick.
Oh, okay. No, I think I remember now.
She had like
did she not come to the future with Discovery?
She did come to the future, but then she immediately left the ship to go be with her people, which was very weird. Why'd you go in the future in the first place?
Right. She was like on the space station or something like that.
Yeah, she like immediately left to go be with her people.
She was on that episode where she stayed with the guy.
Right.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, I remember that.
So she's back as a Starfleet stooge, and she's basically yes, thank you, Daniel. Hot topics, Lieutenant Non. And she's basically like she's there to make sure Burnham goes through with the Starfleet's plan, right? And it was just, I found it funny that like Michael was like questioning, like I guess a little bit questioning, like they're trusting her, but like I wouldn't trust her with anything.
Yeah, she doesn't follow orders.
She never follows orders. Like I would trust her to do what she wanted to do. Yeah, go do what you want to do. Like if she's like, I want to go investigate this planet. Okay, please do. But if you want her to go like arrest her boyfriend, send someone to make sure that happens.
Because she's not gonna do it. I mean, famously, many captains did not follow Starfleet's orders, but not all the time.
Yeah, Michael never.
Sometimes, when it was like something that was very personal, whether it's, Spock is reborn on a planet, and we're gonna disobey Starfleet to get him back to Vulcan. I mean, that's it.
Right. Yeah, everything's personal to Burnham. Everything. They're like it's personal if she gets the wrong cappuccino, man. It's like,
I find it really odd that her mom's on the Vulcan planet and all that weird stuff going on. You notice that? I'm like,
the whole thing,
it's strange.
Yeah, it's weird. She's a Vulcan now or something, or she's like,
was she always in the future, or
no? She went there with like the Red Angel suit or something, I think.
But didn't Michael go there with the Red Angel?
Yeah, so I'm not. I'm a little.
How did both go there?
I'm forgetting how there must be two Red Angel suits because of timey-wimey. Probably because of timey-wimey stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
And I love how the explanation for time travel and shenanigans is now just always timey-wimey. Thank you, Doctor Who, for that.
It was a great timey-wimey as well.
Yeah. The time is not linear. It's more of a wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey. It's great. But she's in the future, and she's like the head of like these like Vulcan monks, and she's not Vulcan, and they use swords.
Her mom wasn't like that before going to the future.
Yeah, it's weird. Like Burnham was on Vulcan as some kind of orphan, right?
Yeah.
What does that do with her mom?
Her mom and her dad were like scientists that got like that the Klingons came in and like jacked them up, remember? And that she thought they were dead.
Yeah.
So I don't know why her mom's on Vulcan / Romulan.
Remus or Romulan or whatever.
Yeah, she's on there, and she's that whole thing. She just showed up there, and then her daughter's like, she hadn't seen her daughter. She dissed her daughter, right? And back in basically left her to believe she was dead, right? And then she shows up in the future, and then stabs her in the back the first opportunity she got.
Michael, I'm glad to see you, but I am here to disagree with you.
Right? I was like, what's up with some loyalty? Weird. Her mom ain't got no loyalty, bro.
Yeah, I hate that character so much. I almost dislike Burnham's mom as much as I dislike Burnham.
Yes, thank you, Daniels. How did Michael's mom learn martial arts so fast after she joins the Vulcan Ninja Nuns?
Vulcan Ninja Nuns. Great.
Oh, there's so many unanswered questions that we'll never get answers for.
Never. And I don't understand how the Vulcan Ninja Nuns are able to like incapacitate trained Starfleet officers with phasers. Like, they have swords. Like, jeez.
Oh, yeah. It was like that one girl no one could stop her under any circumstance. It don't matter who it was.
Yeah.
Like, she was like Luke Skywalker with a lightsaber. You know what I mean? Like, nobody was going to stop her.
Yeah, it's so dumb. I'm going to tell you something.
People couldn't stop her.
If you were like, hey, who would win? Shane or Genghis Khan? Right? Yeah. A lot of people would put their money on Genghis Khan, right?
Well, yeah. I mean.
Except for Genghis Khan has a sword, and you have your Navy-issued 9mm. Yeah. Now, who would win, Shane or Genghis Khan?
Unless my aim is really bad, I'm going to win.
Your aim has got to be the worst.
Yeah.
You got like how many shots are in that? You got at least 12, right? 13?
20.
You got 20?
Yeah, extended round. Extended
round. All right, you have 20 chances to not miss.
Yeah, I'm not going to miss.
You're not going to miss. So, guess what? I don't care if you're the best swordsman on the planet. Indiana Jones said it best when he said, I don't have time for this, and he shot the guy in the face.
That was such one of the great moments.
That was one of the greatest moments in script history, in the movie history, and the reason it was so good was because it was realistic, and it was also completely ad-libbed.
Yes, it wasn't. You're right. Yeah, that was.
So Indy was supposed to fight the guy with the sword, but he had been doing stunts all day. He's like, ugh. And he just shot him.
I ain't got time for this, and shot him. Yeah. And they kept it in because it was great.
It was perfect. Because that is realistic. So
why didn't somebody just shoot this Vulcan Ninja Nun? I like that. That's the new thing. The Vulcan Ninja Nun.
They have phasers.
Phasers. Why not just stun her? You ain't got to kill her. Just stun her.
Yeah, I don't get it. I hate that Starfleet is so bad at being Starfleet in the future. It frustrates me. Unless you're part of Michael's crew, and then you're just superhero, which is also this latest episode where like that chick beats up the guy after she, I don't even understand. She gets her butt whooped three times, and she's like, one more time, Michael. How much money do you guys have? How is she allowed to continually like redo this fight until she gets lucky? None of it makes sense. None of it. Why are we talking about this again? Let's move on.
Did I take us here?
Yeah, you did. I'm. Oh my God! I can sit here.
Oh no, it was Daniels did. It's Daniels' fault.
Oh, I can sit here for hours.
Yeah, Daniel's brought up Discovery. See, Daniels, anytime we bring up Discovery, it just sends us down this weird rabbit
Because
hole.
there's so many points. I watched the last episode and there's so many points. I actually like the shopkeeper guy. Cool character. He has his own slang and stuff. It's very futuristic. It felt very much like Firefly to me. It was very cool. But everything around him makes no damn sense. It's like, am I watching fantasy here? Because like, when you watch fantasy, it's okay if some things don't make sense because magic or whatever. Yeah. But for some reason in Star Trek lately, everything is like that. Like, and this chick got like unlimited do-overs until she finally kicked that guy's butt. So, two problems. I don't think that she, with unlimited do-overs, couldn't kick this guy's butt. He's 3 times her size. But even then, why was she even allowed to try winning at the fight 3 times and then she wins the fight? The guy beat her 3 times. She beats him once and all of a sudden everyone's cheering like she won. No. She's got to leave. If we're talking about how many times you fight someone, if the guy beats the crap out of you 3 times and you beat him once, I feel like you need to beat him at least 3 more times in order to win the fight. Right? Yeah. If we're going rounds here, the guy, there's 4 rounds, he beats you for 3 rounds, you beat him for the final round. Just like whoever beats the final round just wins? Then why are there 4 rounds in the first place? I'm so confused.
Yeah. Little note here from Kenneth LaRoque, who's been chatting us up, and I thought I had the member section chat open, but apparently I just had Unleashed open twice. I apologize, Kenneth. Some interesting, he was making a point here about the the Indiana Jones thing. He said it was nice that the swordsman went along with it.
Yes.
The swordsman had to fall down.
Yeah, that's cool.
So he acted through it, even though it wasn't even,
That's cool. I love that too. Like, I feel like we've lost that in movies. We've lost the whole ad-lib approach. A lot of actors and actresses, like, they're either full of themselves or they're so scared they don't want to do anything that's not exactly what they're being told to do.
Yeah, I almost dropped an article in about Francis Ford Coppola being frustrated with movies that are being made today that are just kind of, nobody's making interesting, unique movies anymore.
Everything's so safe.
Everything is safe. Everything's, a repeat.
Right.
And I was going to talk about that, but I think we talked about that recently, so.
Yeah, that's right. It's because Ford was, Harrison Ford was sick that day. And that's the thing, too. An actor going to work sick, like, I'm just going to power through the day. That's not something that would happen today. Like, back then, it was a job you had to do. Now, it's like, sorry, princess, you got a cough. You stay home.
Where's my Perrier?
Where's my Perrier? I'm supposed to be playing a rough and tumble thug, and I need my Perrier in order to do so. Yeah, nothing makes sense. The whole world is bananas. Bananas. B-A-N-A-N-E-S.
Speaking of fluffy actors, let's talk Robert Pattinson.
Yes, let's talk about it. Thank you for that transition. Your transitions today are on point, Shane.
I'm just trying to help because I didn't send you the information in time.
So, Robert Pattinson says he made the same Bat voice mistake as Christian Bale. First off, nice way to throw some shade at Christian Bale there, Robert.
I know, right?
I made the same mistake as Christian Bale. Like, whoa, Christian Bale's reading this like, what mistake, a-hole?
Well, let's see what happened. So I guess he was on that puke Jimmy Kimmel show.
Oh, Jimmy Kimmel's the worst. Oh, he's the worst.
Is such a hypocrite. I can't stand that guy.
He's such a hypocrite, dude. I used to love that man, and now I can't stay. I see his face, and I want to just punch him in the face.
It bothers me that he was on the Man Show, and now he's on this show.
He's on the Man Show.
That he flip flopped.
This dude's acting like he's never done anything offensive his entire life. You were on a show called The Man Show that started and ended with chicks on trampolines, bro.
Yep, every time.
Get over yourself, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, you cannot go the other way without becoming a complete and total hypocrite.
Yeah.
And I know he's apologized for his prior life, but I got to tell you, it's you never get to just go the other way.
Yeah, and you criticizing people. Bro, listen, everyone acts like Adam was the one that started the Man Show. He hired Adam to help him that was just his show. He was the executive producer of the Man Show.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, no. He was the spokesman for the NFL. He used to do, yeah, no. Trust me, he's a shill, big time.
He's a massive show, and if you want to go out there and look at find it, there's plenty of footage of him casually just making jokes using the N-word on public radio, and no one says a word about it.
Yeah, it's.
I'm not saying he should be canceled. I'm saying that he's a giant hypocrite because he tries to cancel everyone else when he was according to his metrics, he was the worst of the worst.
Yeah, well, I think the best way to look at the way Jimmy Kimmel is to look at his partner. I just totally drew a blank. You listen to him all the time.
Adam Carolla
is to listen to Adam Carolla and what he thinks of Jimmy right now.
Oh yeah,
and
Adam Carolla.
That'll tell you kind of everything you need to know.
Yeah, they were best friends, and Adam Carolla absolutely is.
Well, now they're not friends, so that means it's not that because Adam didn't want to be friends with Jimmy. It's Jimmy didn't want to be friends with Adam.
Right. Adam didn't change. Jimmy changed.
Right. Okay, so back to this bat voice thing. We've got a very political show today for some reason.
That's your fault.
It is my fault, except I didn't. Okay, yeah, I did. No, I actually said, yeah, you're right, dude. This is all my fault. Okay, so when asked how long it took to create his bat voice, Pattinson explained that his first attempt did not go well. He said, I actually found out a funny thing about it because I wanted to do a radically different thing than all the other Batmen did. And so I kind of started to do some like gruff, gravelly thing. He says, because everyone has this gruff, gravelly thing. He says, I'm going to do something opposite. I'm going to be real whispery. Right? So he said, I tried to do it for the first 2 weeks and it just looked absolutely atrocious. They told me to stop doing it.
Hey, everybody.
Right.
I'm Batman.
But apparently Pattinson, that's so funny. However, Pattinson wasn't the first actor to try something so unusual. But then I found out from Nick, who was putting me in the suit every day, that's what Christian Bale did on Batman Begins as well. And he said, if you listen to the first Batman Begins teaser trailer, you can hear the original voice. And he said, I only found out a couple of weeks ago. So it's kind of interesting. He also said that when he found the right bat voice, he said, you can feel when it feels right. You put the suit on and then you have to speak in a certain way. I never understood the difference. It says here that it's important that the bat voice is different because not only does it hide his secret identity, but it also intimidates the villains he apprehends.
Imagine he's like speaking like the Riddler. He's like, hey, you Riddler, you're not gonna get away with it. And Riddler's like, what's going on right now, man?
Right? Yeah. Well,
who are you? And did I pass out in the adult arcade? What's going on?
Well, here's Adam West Batman. Go get him, Robin. And then here's the Bruce Wayne version. Go get him, Dick. Because he basically had the same voice.
Michael Keaton didn't have a different voice, did he?
I didn't think so. I mean, I guess it was maybe a little bit deeper.
Maybe.
But it was, Michael Keaton's so good at everything, he didn't screw up the voice.
That's true. Christian Bale was the first Batman to like...
He really screwed up the voice.
Yeah, Val Kilmer didn't do a weird Batman voice. Neither did George, what's that guy?
Can we just forget that George was ever Batman?
Yeah, he was Batman. Okay. He was the Batman with like the bat nipples too.
Never have been Batman.
He was Batman and he had nipples on his suit for some god awful reason.
That wasn't his fault, but yeah.
And Elisa Silverstone was Batgirl. She was like his niece, and like she shows up to the Wayne mansion, and she's like, "Hey, Alfred, what's going on?" He's like, "Hello, Miss. I made you a suit."
I know, right? What's up with that?
You're like she's immediately turned into Batgirl. There's like,
I know, right?
There's no build-up. I thought you would want to go risk your life in this foolhardy endeavor at nepotism and vigilantism. Here's a suit. Gosh. Good luck, miss.
Dude, the best Batman and Robin story ever is Lego Batman's story. The Lego Batman Robin, like the way I'm so sorry. It's the best one. Robin is like, an actual orphan.
Yeah.
And he goes to the orphanage because he's like got to. Right? He's like, "Hey kids, look at this cool stuff I can do." And oh god, it's just so great. I want to go watch it right now.
He just basically kidnaps the kid to be
Are you going to be my dad, Batman? Oh my gosh. If you haven't watched Lego Batman, you have to go watch it.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, the absurdity of the George Clooney, like the Batman Returns or whatever, and it's crazy because here's the crazy part, okay? I feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger really, really tried.
He did. He tried
like,
as Dr. Freeze.
He tried so hard to make that character awesome. Like
he did.
He did. He acted his butt off. He probably tried more in that role than any role we've ever seen him in.
He's ever done. And yes, I agree.
He went hard in the paint to try to make this character reality. And to be honest, you did feel sort of sorry for him.
A little bit. No, he was. Yeah,
and he even had like a weird redemption at the very end where he gave him the, and you're like, oh, I mean, what a great villain that just was played as hard as Arnold Schwarzenegger tried to play him. It was the wrong person to play him.
Yeah,
and he was playing this trying to play this serious role in a movie where his henchmen were on ice skates.
It was Batman on ice, bro. That's what it was.
And wait. So the villains were Poison Ivy, also played by someone who killed it, did her absolute best to try to make that character awesome.
She did, and actually, Poison Ivy wasn't a bad character.
Right. So Poison Ivy and Dr. Freeze. So someone wanted to cool down the warming planet and someone else wanted to plant plants, and you got this billionaire with guns shooting them, and we're all supposed to root for the guy who literally pulls out a Batman themed credit card in the movie.
Oh, the good old days of
he pulls out a Bat card. It's a Batman credit card.
I know, yes.
The entire movie industry had us all rooting for pure, unadulterated capitalism over environmentalism like that.
That was I guess that was the 90s, right? No. Yeah.
What a movie. 90s. What a movie. Oh my God.
I gotta go watch that again.
We need to watch. We need to do a whole live stream where we watch that movie.
So Two-Face is in the Val Kilmer one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the most. Man, those movies were the most absurd things ever. And you know what's funny? Dude, in fact, they actually cast some of the best people to play villains.
They did. Jim Carrey is the Riddler. It was good.
Tommy Jones.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones.
So you have all these amazing actors.
Danny DeVito
DeVito. These amazing award-winning actors acting out of their minds to make these amazing characters under the most ridiculous possible premise. Awesome.
With not the best Batman.
With the worst Batman.
Like Val Kilmer's Batman. It's funny. Val Kilmer was like a good Batman, but a bad Bruce Wayne,
Right. This is every time I see Val Kilmer's Batman, that's what I see.
And I loved Val Kilmer after Tombstone.
He just he can't move his neck. He's like, but Robin, get to the Batmobile. Here, take my Bat credit card.
So I would say to Battinson here that of all the things wrong with Batman, the voice probably not as bad as some other Batman things that have happened. George Clooney's Batman.
Unless he's whispering. Because if he's whispering in this movie, I will not be able to not laugh.
No, he's growling. You can tell. He said he found his deeper, because he said it's okay. Let's continue here, because he did say some things.
This might have ruined the movie for me, because now every time I see him talk,
he spoke recently about how difficult it was to maintain the voice through some of the longer scenes in the movie. He cited keeping his voice in an artificially low register as the main cause of the problem, and explained that the Batman has long dialogue scenes as Batman, which is quite unique out of a lot of the other movies in the series. Maintaining the voice was such a problem that when it came to additional dialogue recording and post-production, Pattinson says that he couldn't even do the voice again. It had completely reverted back to normal. So he couldn't, during the dubbing, dude, he couldn't like get in the groove to do the Bat voice. That's going to be tough if he does another. Ooh, maybe that means there's no other movies for the Battinson. Ooh, did we just learn something here?
I just want to see him gracefully whispering to the Penguin. Oh God, I hate the fact that they're using it. They shouldn't have used the Penguin in this movie. That was a mistake.
Dude, 2 weeks. 2 weeks, bro.
We're watching this movie in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah. You're right. They got the wrong guy for the Penguin.
Yeah.
Although, who knows? Maybe we'll watch the Penguin, and he'll do a killer job.
I do like Colin Farrell as like an actor.
I do, sort of. I mean,
wrong guy.
I wanted Olaf to be.
And yeah, Olaf would have been better. And thinking back on Danny DeVito was the absolute best. I don't think you're ever
like
gonna. He looks like a penguin. He literally looks like the role, and the closest thing that's ever come to looking like that role is Olaf. What's his name? I don't even know what his name is.
I just told
the guy that played Olaf, right?
Yeah.
He's the closest thing I've ever seen to actually looking that role, and he's a good actor. Every time I see, I'm gonna think of Danny DeVito, and it's gonna be so hard. It's gonna be so hard to separate these because Danny DeVito was absolutely excellent.
Yeah, it is kind of, even after all these years, just having a different Penguin is gonna be odd. You know?
Daniel says it was so weird how George Clooney was like, "Hi, Freeze, I'm Batman." Imagine, I would love to see like Freeze's realistic reaction. Like, yeah, I figured.
What did Ken say here? Danny DeVito as the Penguin. I thought he was an actor. Yes, he is. He is an actor. He's a good actor.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Let's move on. What's next?
How about let's talk Bob Saget, dude.
Bob freaking Saget.
Yeah, this is funny because I made a joke when we talked about Bob Saget's death. Remember I made a joke? I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if he was like, he came from the strip club and like he made some dude mad and he like knocked him over the head or something?
No, it wouldn't be funny.
Last week? Huh?
That wouldn't be funny. What are you talking about?
Well, that would be kind of so Bob Saget because he was actually kind of dirty.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
It would be so Bob Saget if that happened.
Right.
Because he actually isn't the well-mannered,
right?
Guy
the guy hung out at strip clubs and did blow.
Right. Yeah, he was kind of like that. Well, it's interesting now because apparently the family is now blocking any sort of information getting out about his autopsy reports or any potentially embarrassing details. There's no evidence that we're aware of so far that he was doing something nefarious. But on Monday, a judge in Orlando granted a temporary injunction blocking the release of any records related to the investigation into Saget's death after his family filed a lawsuit citing privacy concerns.
Oh, man.
Right? Now, the thing that we have to remember about what happened with him is that he died because he hit his head, right? The toxicology report confirmed that there were no drugs or alcohol that were a factor in the case, apparently. He fell backwards and hit his head and he died. The problem is that what is being said here is that apparently he hit his head so hard that it would be similar if he had fallen from 30 feet or been hit in the head with a baseball bat. That's like, that's how bad the fracture to his head was. Right. A significant blow to the back of his head would either be a fallen 30 feet and hit your head when you fall. 30 feet, Brian, it's 3 stories. Okay, it's not down the stairs. It's three stories.
Right.
3-story building. Or being hit severely over the head with a baseball bat.
Yes.
So what they're saying is
So he got hit with a baseball bat. That's what they're saying.
What the hell happened, right?
Right.
What they're saying is they think, the police were saying maybe possibly that they thought his headboard had something to do with it, and that he fell back on his headboard. Now, I don't know why he's standing on his bed and then fell back and hit his headboard. Who knows? But it's possible. I mean, maybe he was doing something he shouldn't have been doing with somebody, right? And somebody came in and got mad. I mean, it's all speculation here. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what happened.
I always thought Bob Saget would die from like autoerotic asphyxiation or something.
Dude, why did we have that thought? I agree with you.
I always thought that was like, if he's going to go out, he's going to go out with like his tie around his neck, jerking off in a closet or something.
In the closet. Kind of like that guy from Kung Fu did. David, what's his name? God, I told you. David Cassidy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's it. He died. See, I never expected him to die that way. But I expected Bob Saget to die that way.
I kind of did too. I was like,
I fully expect David Spade to die that way. I'm surprised he's made it this long.
Yeah, he's lived this long. So anyways, the only reason I brought up this story was because I thought it was funny that I mentioned that when we were talking about it. And yet they said there's only two reasons for them to do it. Either the family is super duper private, or they're hiding something. And the problem is the reason why they're not super duper private is because they came out and listed kind of what happened to him initially. So if they were super duper private, they wouldn't have kind of given information at all in the first place. And then talk to the fans. Now, so they can't be like, oh no, now they're going to be super quiet about it. You know what I mean?
David Carradine, was that his name?
David Carradine, that was it. Yeah. What did I say? David
Cassidy. Kenneth just corrected us. Thank you, Kenneth.
Oh, thank you, Ken. See, this is why we have smart people from Canada on our stream.
Yeah, we need the best. All right, well, always fun here.
What do you guys think? Tell us if you think Bob Saget was capable of getting beat up by a prostitute's guy and then left in his bed to go to sleep. I don't know. It seems kind of weird.
I know it's sad that he died, but like it was such a Bob Saget.
It's terrible. It's terrible, but it's just weird. You cannot have fractured skull pieces and like be like, he died in his sleep. I mean,
right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he did die in his sleep, but it was after getting jacked by somebody.
Right. All right. Well, that does it for this portion of the show. We are going to be closing down the stream on Popcast Unleashed and continuing it where it's already been live on the main Popcast channel. And I will put that, if the link, first off, the link is in the description, so you can see the second half of our show. It's also in the chat right there. And I'm going to put a little quick link on screen here. If you go to that, that'll take you to that channel. You can also get there by going to youtube.com/thepopcast. That is our main channel. If you're watching here, this is our second channel. And we're going to continue the show on our main channel. The link is in the description and in the chat. I just realized that we were already like 45 minutes past the time to go over there. So
yeah, and also this is what we're going to be talking about over there. We're going to be talking about some new Star Wars Obi-Wan series leaks and John Williams returning to do the music, which means this is no coincidence. He's never done anything for TV since like 1985. So the fact that he's coming back to do this means something. We're going to go through that. We're also going to be talking about the Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings series, and the fact that some people are talking about race is going to ruin mythology. Very interesting. And Star Trek 4 is happening, guys. We got to talk about what we know and what's going to be happening there. I'm not sure what that was. I
forgot my mic was off. I said,
it's like, whoa, how did you do that?
I'm also going to be showing you my video of the week, which is hilarious.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see this video of the week. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, real quick, Daniel, Top Topic says, I did not know that Bob Saget hung out at strip clubs. I thought he was the wholesome guy from Full House. Everyone thought that.
Everybody thought that, but he's not.
Yeah, he's a rough guy.
I mean, he might be a nice guy. We don't want to, but he got a family.
Okay, guys. So yeah, we are going over to that live stream. So we'll see you over there. All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys. If we don't see you over there, we'll see you next week.
I'll leave that on the screen for a second so you guys can all file on over to the Popcast Prime channel. Link is in the description and in the chat. Okay, let me load up that members thing real quick.
Yeah. Okay. Let me know when we're over there.
Just a second. Just a second. Just a second. Just a moment.
Oh, it's like those terrible hold calls, like when you're on hold and you just get. Why do they play the worst music when you're on hold?
Just a moment.
I absolutely can't stand it.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully, I'm closing the correct screen here. Boom, boom.
Bum, 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 bum.
That's Superman.
And copyright claim. you know that's the case.
We should do that and see what's going to happen. Oh, look at John. I thought John Cryer was wholesome until I heard him talk about some stories of hanging out with Charlie Sheen. I know, right? Because on the show, John Cryer's like the straight guy. Like he's like, I was always trying to do the right thing.
I gave her a 20.
That's fantastic.
All right.